Good evening once again, students. We are again here with the subject discussion for HRM. We are entering into the discussion of the last unit, that is fifth unit as per the syllabus of yours. Today's video, since we are recently we are doing some large or lengthy videos, so we shall be able to do some small time videos so that this particular series will be continue and we will take the sessions in a small proportions. So today we are going to start the fifth unit. The topic which we are going to cover into are employee benefits and services, related concept, objectives, significance, types and benefits and services, and fringe benefits, etc. Students, as we are in the quest of making some small proportion videos which are more student friendly, so we will have a small proportion today and rest of this session we will record and demonstrate later on. So without any delay, let us start topic employee benefit and services. Students, when
Talk about the meaning of employee benefits. Before commencing, students, we must understand whenever there is a term called benefit, these needs to be understood. These are the certain benefits other than that of the salary and the compensation. So, benefits or employee benefits provided by the organizations or provided by the organization to the individuals or different employees is an addition to the compensation in the forms of wages and salaries. Organizations used to provide with various services and programs known for employee benefits. So these are basically the sum total of the additional aspects related to the employees, related to their welfare, of course. Previously, the services and programs were known as fringe benefits. So, fringe benefit is a term which is the moderate definition of those employees' benefit. Though fringe benefit will be discussed separately in the next video session. Now, these become part of the compensation packages, hence, the word fringe is now not used and not appropriate even. Therefore, nowadays, employees' benefits are regarded as an important tool to retain employees and to provide the bottom line in the organization. In sum total or in the normal other words, we can state that employee benefit is something which is in regard to the betterment of the employees or retainment of the employees to improve their organization structure from the bottom to the top. Let us talk about the more specification about the importance and significance of employees benefit. But before commencing on that, I would like to explain certain points related to the employee benefits. Students, whenever we talk about employee benefits, these are some certain additions which an organization supposed to provide to the individuals, a worker, an employee, or a person who is on roll of an organization on certain basis. They may be related to the health of the individuals, they may be related to the social aspect of an individual, they may be related to the certain obligation by the organization to the individuals by the name of certain givings to the welfare of the employees. So these are the certain things that we shall be able to talk in entire unit, and whenever we feel there is an importance of defining that, we shall be able to do the same. So let us now talk about importance and significance of employees benefits. Employee benefits plays a vital and important role to maintain an employee's standard or living when he or she suffers from health or the health related problems. Whenever we used to talk about employees are working for the organization, therefore then the responsibility of the organization towards the employee side as to take care their resource in terms of their health. Therefore, the organizations are supposed to convey certain programs for maintenance of the health related problems or to safeguarding health, because certain health related hazard may become because of the work. Let us take an example. Whenever we are talking about a factory or workers, those are working in a factory, they may have certain working conditions by which the health conditions may be affected, or health of an individual may also be affected. In these circumstances, any individual may look for certain health benefit from the organization side. Then it is organization that provides these benefits to their employees, have improved image of caring employees. In terms of social responsibility of organization, there is a social responsibility of the organization towards society, so as it is the responsibility of the organization to take care of their own resources, mainly humankind. Therefore, it is creating a more value-added responsibility or value-added image of the organization in terms of caring of the employee. These benefits are the advantages that accrue an employees apart from salary. These are certain things, as we have talked earlier also, these are not being counted into the salary structure. Rather, these are certain benefits, these are certain saying or giving by the name of an addition proportion. They are not related to the performance also. Mainly you need to be very careful once we are talking about the employee benefits. There is no relativity to the benefit of the employees to the performance of theirs. In terms of performance appraisal, in our last video session that we have talked about, we were able to understand what all are the performance appraisal, what is potential appraisal, and how do an organization can take care or benefit a performer. But here, in terms of the employees' benefits are concerned, there is nothing to relate with the performance. Rather, this is the obligation to the organization, like the obligation of a state to take care of the affairs related to the business towards the business societies in terms of social responsibility of the organization or government to the organization. Therefore, it is the responsibility of the organization to take care of their own resource, that is called mankind. Now we'll talk about this particular saying according to Kochman. Kochman, a famous social scientist, had studied this employees' benefit-related aspects in depth, and he had stated that employees' benefits are those benefits which are supplied by an employer to or for the benefits of the employees, and which are not in the forms of wages, salaries, and time-related payments. So if we talk about that somebody who is working an additional hour or extra hours, somebody is working on extra wages and he have been paid or he have been benefited for that, that is nothing related to the benefit or the employee benefit. So by the specific definition or saying by Kochman, it is very clear here that employee benefits are those benefits which are supplied by an employer to the employee benefits. They may be of different reputation, they may be of different kinds also, but they are certainly not related to the wages, salaries, or time related payment, etc. Let us have a more clear or more specific discussion on that following by C.B. Mamoria's employee benefits explanation. In his terms, in his words, we may talk about primarily a means in the direction of ensuring, maintaining, and increasing the income of the employees. It is a benefit which supplements to the workers' ordinary wages and which are to value to them and their families insofar as it materially increase their retirement. So this is more structured saying about the employee's benefits. If we keep on talk about this particular definition of Mr. C.V. Memoria, we shall be able to talk about more clarity. So let us talk about this particular definition. I shall be able to highlight this, and then please try to give your maximum attention into this particular aspect. Primarily a mean in the direction of ensuring maintaining and increasing the income of the employees. It is a benefit which supplements to a worker's ordinary wages. Anything or everything which is supplements to the worker's ordinary wages. Likewise, whenever we talk about, say, why do we or the organizations are providing the employee benefits? Employee benefits are being provided to the individuals because organization have to take care of the individuals, because individuals or the workers are the most important resource to them, and as far as their responsibilities are concerned, they are meant to take care of their ordinary employment or ordinary wages. So this is something that can scale up certain things. It is a very wise scientific design. Whenever we design about salary, whenever we used to talk about the wages or the payment, they are certain value against the time and the career given by the employee. So certain things, those are sacrificed by the name of time, the emotions, the family. These are certain things which needs to be taken care for that. And therefore, according to C.V. Memoria, it is very clearly defined there that any worker or any supplement to a worker's ordinary wages which are of value of them, whatever you are taking a work from the worker, it is the value against that thing, the salary. So what you are giving in terms of benefit is their, in terms of their family and in terms of their materially increase their retirement. What about once the individuals are going to be retired from the organization? What would be your contribution? So individuals' retirement will definitely be taken care by the employees' benefits. They may be related to the entire lifespan or career span of an individual. Okay, so this is, I hope this is more clear definition, and then we can proceed with the further discussion. Now we'll talk about the characteristics and features of employee benefit. We have enough talked about that what kind of what we basically talk about the employee benefits, what kind of benefits that that needs to be there. But if we talk about the characteristics of the employees benefits, we need to be very clearly understood that there should be certain standards of certain benefits. Suppose I am providing an opportunity to fill the gap between the time given by the employee to the organization equals to their compensation. But what about the time span, the emotions, the sacrifice in terms of career or in terms of the life, in terms of health and family? It is the additional benefit. Therefore, there should be certain characteristics, features according to the legal perspective also. So what all are these features? So we'll talk about that. First, it should be employees' benefits are those payments which are paid to him in addition to wages and salaries he received, as we have already talked about. So this is one of the more clear fundamental. This is beyond than that of what you are paid for his gross work against a month. Then, since the salaries and wages are calculated on the monthly basis. Next is, these benefits are not given to the worker for any specific performance of the job, but they are offered boosting his interest in work and make the job more productive for him, or the work is being more productive by him until unless if I am a professor, if I am going to teach, the institute needs to taken care my career. Institute needs to taken care my other benefits of my social obligation, my knowledge obligation, my obligation to fund family, etc. So that I could be more productive. If I am a worker in a factory, I need to be more productive. Once I am boosting my interest in keeping over there, and it is not equals to the proportion scientifically also. Whatever you have done the work, the salary being paid. Whatever the work you've done, the salary being paid. This is not the equilibrium. Therefore, it is the aspect or characteristics that we are talking about related to the employee benefits. The third is employee benefits present labor cost. Employee benefits are offered to the employees or in the kind of money terms of account or cost. So these are certain in principle employee benefits which represent labor cost. Whatever benefits are offered to the employees in kind of money in their terms account and the cost related to their employee. I thought this point is little difficult, so let me try to give it a more explanation on that. Whenever we talk about employee benefits represent labor cost. Whenever you talk about labor cost, suppose I am hiring a person for a day work and he or she is providing his whole sum of hour or day to the organization, then it would be the labor cost. But once I'm talking about benefits are offered by the employees, it is a kind of money or terms account. Terms account meant for this will be not for day, this will be not for the month or even for years, rather for ongoing continuous work since a long connection with the organization. Therefore, there should be a term account or a cost, and this cost needs to be given directly to the employees on a different account. Next is these benefits are offered to the employees irrespective of their merits. There is nothing to be talked about in terms of merit or non-merit. These are the criteria of benefits for everyone. These are common for all. Next is benefits given to the employers is meant for all the employees and not for specific group of employees. See, there may be certain groups of employees, likewise A, B or C, but there is no discrimination. For example, whenever a group of specific employees are supposed to be given certain benefits, they need to be, right? Or certain benefits are common in nature, they are equal for A, B, C or any level or any ladder of the employees. This is a positive cost incurred on the employers to finance employees' benefit, because it is what the turnaround of the benefits of the profit or the profitability of the organization. Now we'll talk about common employee benefit. There are certain things which are in the segments of the employees. There needs to be a group of employees needs to be benefited. They may also be called up employee benefits, but there are certain benefits, those are common in nature. So we'll talk about that. For example, if an organization is having a trend of providing free lunch or one meal or subsidize of meals to be offered to the employees, then it is common for all. Second, it is free medical facilities to the employees and the members of his families. It is said to be for all. Employees are insured for life against accidents or illness. In India, there is a provision for this under Employee State Insurance Act. There is an act specifically for that, and that the employees needs to be benefited from that particular benefit. Next is provision for retirement benefits such as provident fund, gratuity and pension. See, once we are talking about what about today's work, you've got today's salary. 1 month salary. But what about the entire life you have sacrificed, and against that, what about that? So there are certain funds by the name of provident fund 1, the gratuity 2, the pension are the common employee benefits. Leave travel allowance, or may be called as LTC, schemes to be implemented by many government and non-government organization counts for paid holidays for the employees. This is a common benefit. Maternity leave for 19 days for female employees. For every female employees, there is a provision of 19 days of maternity leave plus child care leave. But nowadays, the government of India, according to DOPT norms, the maternity leave session has improved from 3 to 6 months. Free education to the children of employees for providing education allowances to the employees. Scholarship to the meritorious students of the employees are also given. Free transport services, that is called TA, to the schools and college going students to the employees by the employers. These services is also provided to the employees for attending their duties in the offices or factories. These services is provided freely in some companies and or to subsidize it in the organization. House accommodation is yet another benefit provided to the employees at the subsidized rate. So these are certain common things. Now we will talk about the objectives of employees benefits and services program. There are certain things or there are certain common objectives by which any employee benefit program needs to be prepared by the organization. So let us talk about those objectivities. Why the organization are creating? First of all, it is a foundation or obligation to the organization as per the norms. First, which is the thumb rule. Second one, there are certain norms which I am going to abbreviate according to the made up PPT. They are: the following objectives are achieved through benefits of services program. One is to attract and retain the best employee in the organization. It is almost a kind of commitment from the end of the organization. Not always the employees are going to ask to commit certain things, but organization have to commit onto the note of that they are to retain the best employees in the organization. Therefore, the employee benefits are there. To fulfill the needs of employees which he himself or she herself cannot provide, such as protection against the accident and hazard. So these are the organizational benefits. Objective is to cover the any sort of damage, because it's a damage for the organization also. But organization cannot replace any individual's accident or that has been taken care. Then in particular case, the families can be benefited by the particular hazard. To provide employees with such benefits which are prevailing in the similar organization, that needs to be talked about. Special privileges are provided to the employees for holding a special position in the organization. There are provisions in the special benefits or benefits of employees. If you are holding a special position in the organization, then special privilege may be given, and that too subjective or conditional in terms of the commitment or in terms of the contribution shared. Some benefits are provided at the behest of the unions. Unions first to maintain good harmonious industry relation. There are the Union Act. The unions are there in the organization that needs to be taken. Now we'll talk about the principles of those benefits. What all are the fundamentals or principles in between or behind this particular criteria of defining the particular principles? They are: first is the principle underlining benefited as per these are the certain advertisement as per the sum up of the norms. They are: benefits and services must be provided with the genuine intention of promotion of employees' welfare, and these benefits should not be considered as a matter of charity. This is not a charity, but it is a genuinity. See, if it is a matter of the education of the wards, if it is a matter of the health related of the employees, if it is related to maternity or paternity or related to own benefits of marriage or something, the benefit needs to be more genuine. It needs to be benefit must be adored by the employees and should satisfy their needs. That meant what? There needs to be benefit needs to be liked by the employees. It's not like that is only a benefit, but it is no, there is nothing to be contribute onto the note of employees. The employee needs to be felt that they are benefited. Next is the basis of the benefits must be board so that the large number of employees should be covered by them. Cost effectiveness should be taken into the account while floating a scheme of benefits. There are certain costs related to any special or benefit in general to the organization in long terms, like PPF or LIC or certain other medical allowances or education allowances. There are certain costs, and there is a certain strata or analysis by which the organization or the association needs to decide what all are the basic principles for providing the benefits of the same. Employees must be aware of these benefits. There is no fun if the employees are even not aware about those benefits. There is no use. Before deciding upon any benefits, the union should be taken into the confidence, and its suggestion thereof should be taken into the consideration. These facilities needs to be smoothly functioning as per the scheme. So this is, as I stated before commencing this topic, these are legal practices, so that the institute or organization by the name of the state, by the name of the Union of India needs to be aware. For that, there are certain suggestions needs to be considered, and they needs to be smoothly functioning. It's not like that the benefits are there but they are not functioning. There is no such provision in the law that certain provisions or benefits are there but it is not being provided. There is no kind of, if employee benefits are there, an organization needs to strictly adhere with that. That is what the facility needs to be smoothly functioning as per the scheme according to the norms of the central government or state government. Quotation from the Peter Drucker throws light on the principle of benefits. Peter Drucker states, he said, larger part of industrial growth is obtained not from the more capital investment but more improvements in men. We got from men pretty much what we invest in them. So according to Peter Drucker's definition, it is very a natural phenomena. Whenever you are talking about the growth of the organization, it's not only about the capital you are investing, rather the improvements in man which you can be obtained by having certain principles of benefit. So these are certain things that we have talked about. We'll talk about in a more continuing manner some special allowances that we are in continuous. There are certain provisions, those are there that we have discussed. 6th, 7th. 8th is providing benefits to the employees of the organization fulfill their social commitment as contained to Article 43 of Indian Constitution, which states all workers should be given a living wage and conditions of working ensuring decent standards of life and fuller enjoyment of to ensure social and cultural opportunities. That meant for whenever we keep on talking about the providing benefits to your employees, this is according to Article 43 of IPC or the Indian Constitution, by which these benefits are adhered. In the continuation of last slide, we are talking about some special allowances that we have already talked about. And benefit needs to be protect precious human resource during the passage of a period of contingency of life, where these benefits keep the human resource in idle condition, which in turns increase the output. This is the must for increasing growth of economy in the country. If we talk about what is the ultimate outcome of the employee benefits, there are two ways theory. One is employees are at last benefited, their families are benefited, their social obligations are benefited. On the contrary, the economies are benefited by the name of these protects precious human resource because it is vulnerable. It is one of the most important resource during bad phases of life, a period of contingency of life. These benefits keep the human resources in ideal conditions so that he or she can work and turn increase the output. This is must for increasing the growth of economy of the country. So this is with the, I thought we are going to conclude this session here, and in next session we are going to talk about the types and or of benefits and services and fringe benefits. It will be continued to the next video session. Till then, stay safe, be a quick learner, and try to improvise your study. Thank you so much.